Hey, baby. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, race fans and all ages. Welcome into episode number 91 of Clark After Dark, right here, live and direct on the RaceON airwaves. Happy to be back for another week to talk motorsports across the Arklatex region and along regionally and nationally. A lot of great things going on as we hit the dog days of summer, folks. It's getting a little hot outside, and it bees like that, but I'm not sure anybody's hotter than Bobby Pierce right now, and I don't mean by looks, folks. I mean by he is just putting belt to ass right now in the competition. He has won 8 of his last 9 starts as the smooth operator out of Oakwood, Illinois. And that other start, Cortland, was a 4th place finish. Absolutely incredible what kind of run he is on right now. He goes for 6 in a row tonight at Norman County with the World of Outlaws Late Model Series presented by Dirt Vision. This week, the All-American Showdown kicks off Thursday night. The RaceON All-Star Challenge. 48 factory stocks are locked in for battle in Petty, Texas at the Rocket Raceway Park. Got a lot of cool things. Excited to talk about that here in a little bit as well. The Dirt Car Summer National is also back on the track this week as well. And the weather looked good. And hey, you see my man. I'll bring Cortland on right here so you can see his beautiful hat and the Darty Smith Memorial. It's Darty week, baby. We've tried, and third time's a charm, big dog. Here we are. We're going to get to honor your dad once and for all this week once again, and happy to be able to do that, man. We got a huge week here on tap in the Arklatex. Cortland Smith, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Man, we're just living, my man. Like you said, a huge weekend lined up, right? And I feel like, like you said, we got the dog days of summer now. It's hot. It's hot, and we finally got through our 2 weeks of straight rain. And let me tell you right now, some people probably wish they had a little bit of rain, but we don't want none in the dirt track world, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of big races that we need to get in, and we need to get these things in before we got to sit there and make up 48 other races, right? So what a great weekend, man. 4th of July, 250. I mean, like what more could you ask for? And what better way, really? I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do. You could celebrate this 250th year anniversary any way you want to, but I'll tell you right now, there ain't many better ways than on a dirt track on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday. It don't matter. Find your way to a dirt track this weekend, because that's some true Americans. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a good one, man. We got a lot of great races, and what a great weekend to do it all on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We kick it off Thursday at Rocket, which is really cool. Like I said, with 48 factory stocks locked in for battle with the All-Star Challenge. It's a pretty cool list of drivers, too. I was kind of looking it over yesterday. We've got a really cool new introduction with the Fan Save Provisional as well, where fans are going to be able to buy a $5 raffle ticket, and they could even potentially go home with $250 extra in their back pocket, more money than they came with. I'll explain a little bit more about that here in short order. And yeah, man, July 4th weekend, this weekend, like you remember this as a kid, right? Growing up, I know I spent a lot of weekends at the racetrack, right? Champion Park Speedway always had July 4th weekend. Them at Lone Star, right? It'd be Champion maybe on a Friday night, Lone Star's, or they'd go to Champion on a Sunday, July 4th, but Lone Star would maybe be the night before. And every now and then Boot Hill would be sprinkled in. But man, those days just growing up and going to Champion when the Super Late Model Series was just banging was some memories that I'll never forget, right? Do you have any core memories from July 4th weekend in your racing days?
I do. 15 years old, July 4th weekend. Like you're talking about this, it was a super swing. I think we started off at Arklatex and then went to Timberline and ended up at Lone Star, man. And I was 15 years old. Like I'm still wet behind the ears, probably raced 5 times. And Dad drags me up there and he's like, you ain't going to get better racing at the same racetrack, right? So we went up to Timberline race or Arklatex that Thursday night, I believe it was, and ran there and then went to Timberline Saturday and Lone Star Sunday, I believe is how it all worked out, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think I got my days mixed up there, but yeah, man, like you talked about that 4th of July super swing, it was always like really cool. It was our little, like you people want to reference it, like it was our little mini hell tour, right? Like it's 110 degrees and we could go race 3 or 4 straight days up there, right? So yeah, man, those are really cool memories that I do remember. Me and old Pops, we'd load up on it. It was 4th of July weekend and Labor Day weekend. Mom knew don't plan nothing because we're going to be out of town for about 3 or 4 days going chasing races all across the Arklatex.
Yeah, let me guess. Catman, John Mitchell, or Rocket Ray Moore won the majority of those. It seems like anyway. John got on a really, really hot heater in between 2014 and 15. He won like over 23 or 24 super races in 2 seasons. He was on an absolute tear, was the Catman. And of course, Ray Moore, we miss him, the 93 car, but he scored some wins at Timberline, Arklatex, and Boot Hill as well. So Man, I'm not sure where to go with this one right this second. I don't know, because we might be headed for a drought around here, folks. Like we said, it's pretty hot. But man, I'm excited that we're actually getting to race, right? Like this season it's been tough. It really has. It's been tough for everybody involved. We did get a couple in this past weekend, right? I was at 67 on Friday night, and of course went to Arklatex on Saturday night. RaceON was really good at both places this weekend. Tim had her little juiced up on Friday night over there at the Canna. But hey, it bees like that big time automobile racing, like you like to say. But man, I kind of wanted to approach this to you tonight, and we didn't talk about this pre-show or anything to really maybe put this together to our best ability here. But I kind of wanted to say, like, to narrow it down, because whenever there's so much racing that goes across the state of Texas, Louisiana, and beyond around this region, like there's a lot we could cover, right? So you kind of have to narrow it down, or else, I mean, we only have an hour's time. We can't be here for 3 hours talking racing, or else we would, right? We would just be here until the clock stopped or somebody told us to leave. But I wanted to narrow it down. What's the biggest storyline coming out of the state of Louisiana and dirt track racing this weekend? For me, and you may agree with it, I'm just going to say Mark Underwood Jr. winning $2,500 at Thunder Valley Speedway in Glenmore, Louisiana is obviously a storyline. And the number 2 storyline for me, Cortland Smith, is what the hell is an underslung? Or what is an underslung rule? That's all I know. Like, really, that's big news this weekend, right? Colby Williams would have been back-to-back after his win at Boot Hill 2 weeks ago. Instead, he takes a trip to Dairy Queen. He gets the disqualification. Tupper ends up scoring his 13th overall win of the year. What are your thoughts on that? And I'm sure you would agree, Mark Underwood Jr., being a top storyline, winning $2,500 in the factory stock down at Thunder Valley. But this underslung rule, that seems to be, it's got some really, really respectable race car drivers like Brandon Davis, Trevor Hughes, and a lot of AMA drivers, Dustin Tater Hyde, who never gives his opinion on these kind of things. A lot of guys have opinions on this, and it seems like the racers obviously aren't a big fan of it. It's one of those pesky rules. What is your opinion, if you even have one on it?
I'll really have to look into it, but for the people that don't know, an underslung is what holds, it goes underneath the rear end. It's pretty much what kind of halfway, if all the bars disconnected the rear end, that's what kind of keeps the rear end in the car. And I know it's about having the underslung off the ground, and I'm pretty sure what the rule is. I ain't gonna lie, ZC, we've been moving, shaking. So I really been read a whole lot. I did see where he got DQ'd over it. And it is one of them pesky rules, right? Like it's one of those deals that it's definitely is can be interpreted in many different ways, and however it gets interpreted is how it gets interpreted, right? So I myself, I'll walk around the pits this weekend and talk to some guys, and kind of get the scoop on that, right? I was at Thunder Valley, and it was a absolute it was madness at the Valley with the 125, Dalton Faulkner, the $22 Tayton Perkins, Josh Martin. I mean, at one point, Dalton Dubois went from 5th to the lead in turns 1 and 2 and had a cut tire. Dalton Faulkner cut a tire. Like it got absolutely Western there for about half a lap. And a lot of people, I'm not saying a lot of people left upset or mad, but a lot of people maybe didn't get the results that they wanted to, right? So that's kind of my 2 statements on them. I'll get the scoop on the underslung deal, so I'll be more prepared next week. But for those that didn't know, it's what pretty much goes underneath the rear end. It's the 2 bars that go underneath the rear end. And I know it's about the travel. I think when Colby pulled up the tech, he was just sitting there and they measure it off the tape measure or whatever, and I think what's the rule, like 4 inches? I guess this is all off the top of my dome. I think rules 4 inches. I guess he was too low. It was good when he was in the car, or no, he was good when he was out of the car, but when he got in, it raised it up, whatever it may be, So I'll get the scoop on that. But if you ask me, my biggest storylines, it wasn't necessarily happening in Louisiana, but it happened really close. There was a really big limited modified race at Pike County Speedway this past weekend that a lot of guys that we see travel around the Arklatex went down over there. The 69 was in the house at one point. Chad Comer, Tracy Denby, but Ethan Bells picks up, I believe it was $5,000 at Kai Kelly's Pike County Speedway. And I just think that kind of just lets everybody know. I know there's a lot of our guys and a lot of the guys down there, but I mean, that just puts it on. I mean, Chad Comer had a really good showing. That's a guy I know. Tracy Denby had a really good showing. Shane Hebert went down there. He was fast time, I think. And so it was pretty cool to see all of our guys go over to a place that you really don't see a lot of our guys go to. And Ethan Bells showed up and picks up $5,000 down there at Pike County. That's the big thing I got. And the other big thing is that finally, once and for all, I told Stoney Dubois this. I'm gonna call Stoney out. He said he ain't been listening to the podcast, but now he is. Stoney Dubois walked up to me before this feature on Saturday at Thunder Valley, and he goes, "Cortland, what about this weather next weekend?" And I said, "Stoney, you're about to run a race for $2,500. Why are we worried about the weather next weekend? Like, why aren't you just worried about the race? Like, it's 7 days away. Like, quit worrying about the weather, Stoney." Like, you about to race for $2,500. Why are you worried about the weather next weekend? Anyway, Stoney, you know I love you. Just want to give you a shout out. Thank you for listening. But another good storyline is that it's Monday, Tuesday, and we don't have all these questions about what's this weather going to be like or looking forward to it, right?
Yeah.
We know it's Louisiana. We know we can get a pop-up shower, but we're not worried about tracks canceling on a Tuesday afternoon because of rain and weather forecast. So that's my big storylines right now. Ethan Bales rolls down to Pike County, picks him up a $5,000 payday, and then I ain't saying it ain't going to rain, ladies and gentlemen. I don't control the weather. Maybe the government does. Who knows?
Rain.
But
it's not going to rain.
But we're trending in the right direction.
That's it, bud. Yeah, dude. So Derek Grigsby texts me on Friday evening when I'm on my way to Texarkana. He says, me and Paul drove down to Pike County, Mississippi for tonight and tomorrow. He just let me know, you know. So I said, well, I'll be damn. I said, the 69 done hopped off the porch once and for all. You know, it's not like he has anything to prove, but yeah. So he went over there, ran Friday night, and unfortunately blew a motor. So I texted him on Saturday evening, and I said, how'd it go last night? MRP doesn't tell the story. And he said, we're headed back with a broken motor. And I said, well, damn, that sucks. You know, like there's nothing really else to say other than that, obviously. Sucks. But hey, yeah, you know, like obviously for how good he's been, and then you want to go travel off, you know, and chase some different competition, chase a different racetrack, and you go over there and you blow your motor, you know, like, so I hope Derek's bad luck biscuits aren't back, right? I hope that those have fell off of him and he'll get a new motor and everything will be good to go. But hey, maybe, I didn't say this to him yet, but I know everybody's been like, when Derek Grigsby going to get a B mod, man? It'd be cool to see Derek in a B mod. And hey, the old thing I keep saying, Cortland, is he doesn't have to get a B mod just because y'all want him to, right? He's been a limited guy for 20 years now. I know we've said that on this podcast. Like, he can do whatever he wants to do, and we'll respect it. But I tell you what, Keith Tidwell, he just bought that B mod from Kel Westover. I'm sorry, JoJo did. I'm just saying now, Derek, if you want to go hop behind that wheel of that RKT Motorsports car when there's big money on the line, like, it might be pretty cool to see you wheel one anyway. But anyway,
yeah,
and maybe even go back to number 99, right? I don't know. But anyway, that's that. Yeah, so those are the notes there. Hey, how about some other notes from Louisiana, some Arclatech Speedway notes? I was there this weekend. How about Logan Griffin winning the limited modified feature, right? 69's out of town. There's other people. Like, it opens up the door. But Connor Mewborn won Friday night at Texarkana. And, man, it looked like the 36C was going to roll in and have a really good shot at sweeping the weekend. And he spun the tires on a late race restart. He got in the slick. And his night went from really, really well to really, really bad, quick, fast, and in a hurry after dominating at 67 on Friday night for Connor Mewborn. I feel like that was his race to lose. No disrespect to anybody else, but Mewborn has, I mean, he's been fast. Like, he's been really fast this year, just hadn't necessarily had the results to show for it. And how about Gary Harvin getting his first win since last April? One of the good guys in our sport, man. It's always good to see that orange number 25 car in Victor Lane. And JD Ammons won a very exciting Sportster race. But the best Victor Lane celebration of the night was the rookie Sportsters. Mason Hudman scored his first ever feature race win, and that young man was fired up. I thought he was going to burn the place to the ground. It was pretty fun to be down there with him. And, dude, you know, last week I called out C-Dub, right? I called C-Dub out, and C-Dub walks fresh out the hospital straight to Victory Lane, bud. You know what I'm saying? C-Dub, yes, Caleb Diller, the old Roboline rocket to Victory Lane of the Southern States mod. That thing got pretty interesting there late. Denny Gabar was ripping the top. Like we always talk about, you only need two cars to have a race. Well, Denny G threw him over his shoulder. You know what I mean by them. And he run down Dillard, and then he broke coming to the white flag. It was very anticlimactic, but it was building up into quite something there. Just didn't quite pan out, unfortunately. But did you have a chance to kind of give Vivian a gander? Do you have any thoughts or notes about any of those winners there or no?
Man, I didn't get a chance to give Vivian the gander. Ain't gonna lie, I've been moving this week and weekend, right. So it's been all hectic. And but I will go ahead and kind of I will go ahead and give you a little rundown of TVS. I did sneak away on Saturday and went down to Thunder Valley, like we talked about that earlier. Mark Underwood Jr. obviously picked up the factory stock win, and like I said, it was madness at the Valley for about 3 laps. Like, it was all chaos. I was even down there in the hot pit. Got down, drug a jack around to get Dalton Dubois and Faulkner tires changed. But yeah, so Mark Underwood Jr. wins that one. You know, like I said, Faulkner got the lead early on, led a lot of laps, and then in the closing stages, the 125 and Josh Martin were all over the back bumper. Contact was made here, there, everywhere. And like I said, at one point, Dalton Dubois goes from the 5th all the way to the lead and turns 1 and 2 and down the back stretch. Like, we got cars going through the infield, contact being made. Like, it was crazy. There's a Facebook Live video out there. I'm sure you can find it. But at the end of the day, the 125 is the one that got paid. And then the other races that they had, man, the limited modified race was actually really good. Derek Lofton, who used to who worked at TWM at one point in time. Him and my buddy JB, they're really good friends. But he goes down there and he wins that limited modified race, and it got really interesting. They went 20 laps, caution free. Shout out to those guys, caution free, 20 laps. And in the closing stages, he got hung up. There was lap traffic, 2 rows deep, 2, 3 wide apiece, and Lofton kind of got hung up. And Parker Cloud absolutely sent it the last 2 laps. Like he drove the last 2 laps, like that rabbit got a little bit closer, so he started driving harder. And Parker Cloud absolutely sent it the last 2 laps, but came up just a hair short. And then in the street stocks, Parker Cloud does what he does in the street stocks, right? Whether it's Thunder Valley or Super B, wherever he unloads that street stock in state of Louisiana, he's really, really good and always picks up the win there. So that's my recap of Thunder Valley. But talking to a couple of my buddies that were at Arklatex, man, they just keep on talking about this track. And like it's a Arklatex like they've never seen before, and it's completely different. Like it is just completely different than what it's ever been. And maybe that's kind of why we get some of these not necessarily surprise winner, but different guys, like it's definitely thrown a curveball to some people. Now, the guys that are fast, always fast. Let's just be real, ladies and gentlemen. But it has thrown a curveball to a lot of guys. But I will say, everybody talks about it. Tires ain't no issue no more. And that's the most happy thing that's the happiest thing about it, is that tires ain't no issue, and it still seems to be racing pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. So whether it's changed from the Arklatex of old, it looks like it's trending in the right direction.
It got really, really good by the end of the night. It was interesting, but Rim and Chris had the skidder tires pushed up about a lane and a half up off the bottom in each set of corners throughout the heats, which is fine because it wasn't taking rubber, but it started drying up a lot more right there to that middle lane to the center. And there's always a method to the madness. And let's be honest, they've been rained out a few times. I think that was their 7th total race this year. So just think about it. That's only 7 races that they've been able to try to figure out what they need to do with their dirt, right? And again, by the end of the night, they were racing all over that joint. They pushed those tires back down, and it got pretty damn slick from top to bottom. And the racing was interesting, but you could tell that all the drivers were really having a hard time trying to figure it out. Like I mentioned, Connor Mewborn, like he spun his tires in the slick on a restart. And Connor, I'm not trying to pick on you here, but it's a tale of two racetracks, right? What compared to what he was on Friday at Texarkana, then Saturday night in Vivian, is just completely 2 different racing services, which I think is cool. I mean, it keeps the racers honest and it keeps them guessing. They never really know what they're ever going to get. So, props to Vivian. They did a good job. Had over 100 cars in the pits once again. Texas storylines. I'll tell you, Chris Hennigan is still a madman, Your Honor, though only his 2nd win of the year, right? Like I can't think of a time that Chris is, it's only his 2nd win of the year this deep into a racing season, right? But again, we've been rained out a ton, but that is his first Tom's win of the year. And he also, Matthew Day scored the Tom's win on Saturday night at Rocket Raceway Park. I texted you the other day and I said, man, Matthew Day from Farmersville, Texas is having a really, really strong season. He finished 7th on Saturday night at Rocket, but a 1st and a 7th on the weekend. He's had a really good year. He's got 7 total wins on the year for the Farmersville, Texas racer. But yeah, the Tom Series was at Hunt and Rocket, and Hennigan and Day score wins. And I think that's kind of par for the course right now. I think you could be surprised with either one of those guys scoring a win, right?
No, you couldn't be surprised, neither here nor there, right? When again, Chris Hennigan and Matthew Day, dude, that guy, like week in and week out, like I always say, I haven't been able to go back and watch it this week yet, but I always go back and watch them Tom's races, right? Or any of the mod races, whatever it may be, man. That Matthew Day is always a dude that you can bet your bottom dollar that he's going to be in that top 5 and sneaking for a win, right? So like you said, he's having a really good year, man. And I got a storyline for you coming out of Texas. I didn't realize we were doing this, but I got one, my friend. This is on top of the dome right here. I had to go back. I did. I cheated off MSRP, but I'm going to tell you my stat right here. Who would have thought coming out of Texas that we are here going to start July and Dalton Faulkner has not won a feature race yet in factory stocks?
Get it together.
Would you have bet that, my friend? Would you have bet that, my friend?
Not won a feature this season.
I don't think he's going to feature this season. My race pass says so. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, why? Like, I'm telling you, like, I mean, my race pass says 0, and I ain't calling my boy Daff out. The dude is wicked fast. Don't think I'm sitting there saying, but who would have thought the cut and shoot Texas native rolling into July hasn't won a race yet in 2026,
while we're
man.
Talking,
like that's kind of wild.
I have some other cool weekly results notes here. I'll get to those here in a second. There's some pretty cool winners, but I've been compiling the factory stock winners list, and I think that's kind of par for the course, right? Like Faulkner, the 27, gets one stolen from him from the 2024 King of the Hill winner down at Thunder Valley for 2,500. Here's your factory stock winners this past weekend in the great state of Texas.
Let's go.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to give you the winner's name. I'm going to give you the names, and you're going to guess what track, okay? Calvin Tucker. This is easy.
105. Yeah, that's easy.
Okay, that one's easy. Nate Dixon.
That was is either KSP or Hot.
Hot of Texas. Chris Davis.
Hot.
He swept.
RPM.
RPM.
Hunt
County and RPM. He swept there this weekend. Yeah. He was one of 2 drivers to sweep the action this weekend. This one's going to get you. Darcy Morcom.
Texana. No, not Texas. Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, Cotton Bowl. Yeah, there you go.
Cotton Bowl.
Cody,
yeah,
Cody Miller.
Oh, I don't like you right now, Zach. This isn't fair. I didn't know I was going to get quizzed. Grayson,
yeah, no, GCS. It was fun, though. I mean, no, the reason of doing this is that this is a pretty eclectic mix of factory stocks. And then you have your Mason Martin, who won at Rocket. You have your Michael Dabney Jr., who won at Kennedale Speedway Park. And Justin Whitehead won at Texarkana on Friday night after a badass race with him and Neil Kemp. The clip is out on RaceOn's Facebook page. I'll be sure to go like it and share it, or just go see it if you haven't seen it yet. But I'm sure at this point you probably have. But yeah, like that's a pretty interesting mix of factory stock winners right there, right? Like you never really know what you're going to get out of this class, right? Like you go from 27 thinking about getting his first win of the year. Nope, not going to happen tonight, sir. Faulkner's still winless, but all these other guys do have wins on the year. Pretty wild to think about.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? And it is, man. I love it whenever you put those lists together. I sometimes don't get those lists put together as well as you, but yeah, like it's awesome to go through the list. Like you said, like what an eclectic mix. Like it's week in and week out. You hear somebody that either you didn't really know that well, or somebody that's like, dang, he finally got one, right? Like I think that was Nate Dixon's first win of the year too this past weekend, right? Like I don't know if Nasty Nate's made Victor. I don't know if that was his first one of the year. Or he got one early on. It's been a while, but it is cool to see that, right? But so that I absolutely love it, man. This factory stock class is just something absolutely crazy. It really is. It's crazy what we have down here.
Yeah, and we'll tie that back in here in a minute. Oh, that was Nate's first win of the year, by the way. So that was his 19th feature start, his first win of the year. How about these drivers who swept action on the weekend? I mentioned Chris Davis winning in the factory stocks at 100 RPM. How about Mike Nichols, one of the winningest IMCA stock car racers all time in the history books of IMCA history racing? Mike Nichols scores the stock car wins at Heart of Texas at Kennedale Speedway Park this weekend. Boone Evans came up 1 spot short to sweeping the weekend between Rock. He came up 1 spot short Saturday night at Rocket, but he won at Hunt County on Friday night, did Boone Evans. Also, some more weekly notes from the great state of Texas. I thought this was pretty cool. I'm going to give a shout out to my good friend. He's sponsored by RaceOn. He listens to our podcast every single week. Shout out to my man, Super Cody Daniel. Hey, season 1, stand up and holler. Battle Royale SmackDown season 1, because your boy, the Rains County Rocket, Kevin Sestair to Victory Lane at Hunt County. Season 1 is still grinding, big dog, okay? And Shelby Williams, like, no surprise there. Shelby Williams wins stock cars at Rocket. No surprise there. Trevor Cogburn wins another feature, his 11th win of the year, and in the limited modifieds at Cotton Bowl on Saturday night. And here's a really cool winner for you. How about David Starr Jr. wins the sport mods at Kennedale Speedway Park, and he was fired up. You know who that is? That's David Starr's son.
Starr's, yeah.
I mean, longtime NASCAR stalwart, right? From the great state of Texas. Yeah, so that's pretty neat, right? See that next generation come up and to see a driver maybe with that kind of pedigree, get his first career win. And seeing Aaron Burchett post about it on Facebook. He's the announcer at Kennedale. Him and Dink McCullough, of course, they posted about it, and he said it was a pretty cool Victory Lane celebration with that young man. So yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff right there, man. And one last thing while we're talking about Texas racing, of course, we're not going to stop talking about Texas racing because we're about to preview Rocket and the Darty Smith and everything else that's going on this week, trying to get to everything we can in a short period of time here. But by the way, did you know that limited modifieds are running 100? They're running 100.
Yes.
They're running, and nobody knows how much it pays. I'm not calling you out, 105. But anyway. And the 100.
Well, let's check and make sure they didn't post it. I'm going to check real quick, but keep on going.
The Liberty Bell 100 lap limited modified Forte on Saturday night, and you got to beat Howard Willis if you want to win after 100 laps. But the thing is, I would imagine Howard, he's in his 60s, but I bet he could still win a 100 lap race. What do you think?
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee that black and green 23 is going to be in the contention, because that's all I know.
If this goes well, we might see what's popping around here, because there are some of those limited drivers that do compete in the enduro races, right? We've seen a couple of them limited chassis get out and compete in the solo 275 and the big one at Rocket. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, 100 lap damn limited modified show on a regular old Saturday night special. Come on back.
I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm trying to read comments because obviously, like we said, nobody knows the payout, but we're trying to figure out. I think there's a fuel stop at lap 50. There's got to be a fuel
Yeah.
stop at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's got to be. So I would figure lap 50 there's a fuel stop. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. I've when you walk around the pits, it's kind of been out for a little while right now. So and you hear limited mod guys, you're just sitting there kind of talking, and they like racers talk racing too. Don't think it's just me and Zach sitting there on a podcast. Like you walk through the pit area and you get drivers hemmed up. They're having what we're doing right now, live and direct, though, in between each other.
Yeah.
They just don't have a screen in between them. But I've heard a couple guys talking about it. They're like, what, like, I don't know what, like, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what it's going to pay. And nobody knows how they're going to make a set of tires last 50 laps is what I've been told. So lo and behold, here we go. Liberty Bell 100. Let's have at it 105 Speedway.
There you have it. Do you want to talk about Bobby Pierce's reign of dominance and then finish up the podcast with the preview? Dude, okay, let's just do it. Bobby Pierce right now is on a reign of terror unlike we've ever seen in the sport. And I know we talk about it, like every time he wins, I'll come here and I'll say, oh, Pierce won enough. But ladies and gentlemen, this cat has won 8 of his last 9 starts. He's won 5 in a row with the World of Outlaws. And you might say to yourself, oh, well, the only competition he has is Nick Hoffman. It's like, well, even if you think that, still, you got to have everything go your way, Cortland. You know how difficult it is just to win one race, let alone to win 5 in a row. And not only that, like I saw Dirt on Dirt compiled this stat, and I don't want to take because I haven't listened to Michael Rixey's video cast, so I have no idea what they talked about in reference to the. He put some stats out yesterday, but they're public knowledge, so I'm going to mention them here. Bobby Pierce has 50 more wins, 142 over JD's 97 from the month of July through December since 2021. To me, that's a telltale stat for me, right? Because when the temperatures start rising and the racetracks get hard and slick, and when most teams start to wear down throughout the season, that's when the 32 starts to raise his game to a different level, right? And with what he's already accomplished and what he's set to accomplish this season, I'm ready to just go ahead and put him solidly. Maybe we'll wait for this conversation more along in the future. But I think the point of it is as dominant as he has been, Cortland, I don't think there's any debate as of right now that Bobby Pierce is the 4th greatest late model driver of all time. But he is on his way to being the number 1 dirt late model of all time. And again, that is a conversation to be had. This could be an argument till the end of time that you're going to say Scott, Billy, JD, Bobby Pierce. I think that those 4 right now are unequivocally you're locked in 4. And it's just by the end of the 32 cars end of his career and the 49's end of his career is whenever you're going to figure out where you place them, right? Until somebody else comes along and redefines this sport again. But that's exactly what Bobby Pierce is in the midst of right now. This cat is in the prime of his career. He's only 29 years old, and he is sitting at 373 career wins. That is unbelievable. It really is. If he stays at this pace, who would have thought that he would ever have the opportunity or just the chance to sniff chasing down Billy Moyer's 800-plus wins? I mean, you would have thought that it wasn't even a possibility, especially in this new age and this new technology-driven era. What Bobby Pierce is doing right now, I know a lot of people aren't fans of him, and I'm not sure exactly why that is, and that's fine. And I think he embraces that, right? That's kind of how Scott was. He embraced the dislike. He loved that. He got a rise out of it. And I think Bobby is just he's loving life right now, man, and he's going to keep punching the tickets, and he's going to keep going to victory lane, and it's going to be a tough road to hoe for everybody else. Like Nick Hoffman's kept him honest for a good part of this season, but like we just talked about, through July and December, the 32 car starts to separate, and that's why you're starting to see that point lead start to get longer and longer between the 9 and the 32 right now. I don't know what you want to add on it, but man, what a streak he's on. Can he go 6 in a row tonight? Absolutely he can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a silly question to ask.
I mean, it's and I want to add to the point you mentioned there in the last couple seconds. He's 29 years old. 29 years old, 2-time World 100 winner, Dream, North-South 100 multiple times, Show Me 100 multiple times, DTWC. I mean, the dude is at 29 years old, has racked up an accolades of what guys that in their 60s have, right? Like it's absolutely incredible. Crazy. And to think, we talked about it the other night, he didn't get his first World of Outlaws win till 2021 at Farmer City, and he's already got 55 or 57. He adds one every day, so he might as well be up to like 60 by now. And I think when I heard Ruben give this deal, it was like this 56th career World of Outlaws win. He didn't win his first one until 2021. And the dude's already won 50 plus World of Outlaw late model features. And I mean, it's incredible. I have it wrote down. I didn't even write none of the World of Outlaw late model results down. Zach knows my note taking. For y'all that don't know, I'm old pen and paper guy. Zach types it out, but I write down all my results. And all I have on there for World of Outlaws late model is Bobby Pierce is that guy. If you wanted to know who the best dirt late model driver is right now, it's that BP32. And it's not just the driver. You mentioned it. It's the whole team. These dog days of summer, when it gets tough and it gets tough and rumble, I mean, you got to give credit to old Bob Pierce. I've said it before. That dude is obviously has stayed on top of his stuff and can lead in the right way. Him and Bobby's communication through signals is absolutely top notch. Like, I swear, Bob Pierce is driving it in his head and Bobby Pierce is just behind the steering wheel. You know what I mean? Like, it is crazy what the whole team has been able to do. And he will, you know, you don't want to say, will he ever pass Scott and Billy? But at some point, like, unless something happens, I mean, the dude, we go through these spans and you're like, okay, he's finally slowing down a little bit. Like, the rest of the field's catching up. And all of a sudden he goes on a 6-race win streak. Like, this dude, like, I mean, you can sit here and blow smoke, and the Bobby Pierce haters have turned the podcast off by now, and that's okay because you're just unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, you're just unrealistic to not say that this dude is absolutely dominating the late model world. And you kind of compare it like you look back, Overton had that year or two of dominance, right? And Ricky Thornton had his year or two of dominance. But now BP32, this is like 3-4 years deep, and nobody seems to be catching them. Like, it's crazy what we're living in right now. And I also got that wrote down. We talk about Scott and Billy. Isn't it so cool that we live in the day and age that and people are going to be like, oh, streaming hurts, this, that, and the other. I watched Billy Moyer win a Summer Nationals race. What is that, 104 for Billy or 103?
Yeah, 102.
I know you know the number. 102.
102
I was off
102 to 104 for Bab.
Okay, 104 to Bab. Okay. So we just watched Billy Moyer win his 102nd career Summer Nationals race. And we're watching the GOAT of dirt late model race. And one of the GOATs, you can argue between Billy or Scott, and your opinion's your opinion. I'm not going to change it, but we know them two are legit. We're watching Billy finish out his career, still winning Summer Nationals racing, and watching this next guy that is going to be in the conversation of GOAT, as well as JD, who hasn't necessarily peaked out yet neither. You know what I mean? Like, we're living in for people that don't appreciate what we get to watch, is we're watching one of the greatest still winning races at what is Billy, 68 years old now? Like, we're still watching one of the greatest win Summer Nationals races, and we're watching JD, that guy that is on Mount Rushmore as well, and the next guy to throw his name in the hat all at the same time. And if you don't love dirt late model racing right now and all of this, like, I know you probably get tired of watching the 32 win every single night, or at least every other night. And yes, that it kind of does get kind of boring when he gets out front, because you know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, man, it is a really cool to see. And this time in our sport, like, we're watching the great still get the job done. We've seen JD do what he's done, have his run, and still going out there winning races and being competitive, and watching this next generation build up into it, right? And it's just a really cool time to be a dirt late model fan.
I truly believe, and I know Michael Rigsby has said this, but every time he says it, I fully agree with him. And I know that everybody who is not a 32 fan is like, Jesus, Zach, why don't you just go ahead and kiss his ass by now? But hey, listen, I don't think there's ever been a more talented race car driver to sit behind the wheel of a super dirt late model. I really don't. Like, just by what he shows us night in, night out, I'm not sure that anybody even has the drive, but he was molded for this, right? Like, this is what Bobby Pierce was built to be. He was raised and molded into be this next phenom. And thankfully, everything has went out exactly according to plan, and maybe even better, honestly, right? But you remember years when he wasn't as dominant, right? I was going through his MRP last night, and I dropped down to like 2018, 17, 16, when he would only have 7 wins or 9 or 3 wins in a year, which is good for some people. But again, he was just paying his dues, right? Remember the Dunn Benson Ford team he ran for? A lot of people don't seem to remember, but he ran full time with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series back in 2018. I think it was 2018 for Dunn Benson. But again, the experience, all that experience, all the laps he's logged has molded him into the driver that he is today. He has always been a supreme talent from the first time he ever sat in a super, right? But you don't just roll out of bed and start dominating this sport. It's a process that is built throughout time, right? And I think that he's just sitting in his prime right now at 29 years old. And get ready. You've got at least 10, maybe 15 more years of this kind of winning and dominance. I mean, no reason to believe that it'll stop anytime soon, right? I got something kind of random here for you, okay? I was going through my pictures last night. I meant to bring this on the podcast a while back, okay? Is dipping while racing normal? I don't look at my boy Tanner Mullins. He looks like Popeye the Sailor Man. Look at him.
Jeez, that's a whole hog leg off in there, biggin. That's a hog leg off in there.
My man has got a chaw in. Do you hear me, bud? But anyway, yeah, that's kind of random. But no, my question is, there's things drivers do to get it. I was trying to figure out if he put that in while he was racing or after, because you see Turbo, right? You see Turbo get out of the car and he puts a Zen in before his interview. Yeah. And I was wondering, like, is he zenning during the race or after? Because I wonder, like, drivers, they don't drink obviously before they race because they get fired. You can't drink and drive. We don't recommend anybody drink. But the drivers use something to take the edge off, right? As a racer, you're a former racer. What did you do to take the edge off for you? Did you put a dip in during the races or did you do it after the races? I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to take my bad, big dog.
No, didn't do none of that. But if you're going to take the edge off, a lot of guys, I'll tell you right now, a lot of people at them 2-day factory stock shows, when you ain't driving home that night, a lot of people, I was one of them. Whenever you roll out for that second factory stock heat race, you go ahead and have you a drink ready. You know what I'm saying? You ain't drank it yet, but you went ahead and mixed that baby up, and you had her sitting there on the trailer somewhere nice and cool to where when you did pull off, that's the first thing you did, because you were either drinking and celebratory because you're going to have a pretty good Saturday, or at least an easier Saturday, or you just finished heat race number 2 on that old toe chain and you just needed to drink your sorrows away because you knew you were sitting in one of them E-mains the next day. So that's how the guys take the edge off. I know a couple other people. I ain't going to throw nobody's names out there because you might get them in trouble with their wives, but I know of several guys that'll go ahead and have that old mixed drink of stout and ready for when they roll off the racetrack after that second heat. But yeah, man, I mean, the guys, I don't think people understand the mental strain that it puts on drivers. And it kind of, I'm going to relate this to Bobby Pierce. You talk about this dominance he's having. He's doing it on his own terms. Like, he doesn't have a car owner barking down his shoulder, telling him that he's got to win. He doesn't have nobody sitting there controlling him. Of course, Bob is steering him in the right direction, right? But he doesn't necessarily like have to please anybody other than himself, and it makes that mental strain a lot easier for him, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have to worry about pleasing somebody to keep his ride. He's the owner, proprietor of his own team, and he can do whatever he wants, right? Whereas a lot of those other guys, you talk about those guys that do whatever they got to do to take the edge off. It's simply one of those deals of like, man, like the mental side of this racing deal. People think they race for a living and they're living a dream. You got guys that are worried about what the car owner's thinking. You got car owners down their throat. You got crew guys that are on top of them, and you're like, well, the driver is pretty much the boss of the crew guys. Yeah, but also the driver needs the crew guys. So you got to keep the crew guys happy, or if they bail, it's not like there's a list of crew guys sitting there waiting to come up, right? So there's just so much mental strain trying to fix the budget, knowing you can't go out there and rip the right front off this thing because you only got $5,000 in the race account, right? Knowing that you got to go do everything you can to try to save money or this, that, and the other. And it is, man, it's quite the mental strain. So ever guys need to take the edge off, they take the edge off, right? So whatever you got to do to keep on chugging along, you keep on chugging along, right? But if you're asking old Cortland Smith, sometimes you just have your little mixed drink, or you go ahead and have your little Cayman Jack ready for when you pull off of that second heat race on one of them big shows. Because like I said, you either celebrating a good run or drinking the sorrows away, because Saturday's going to be a long day.
Yeah, just look at that one more time. Tanner's my boy, but that he looks like Popeye the Sailor Man, son.
Hog leg, huh?
Yeah, dude, hey, he put the damn half a can in the mouth. Do you hear me now? But anyway, all right, moving on to preview Rocket Raceway Park here on Thursday night. Of course, the Darty Smith Memorial on Friday. There's multiple racetracks that are competing on Friday. So again, go wherever you plan on going to make you happy. We would love to see you at Rocket on Thursday, the Darty Smith on Friday, selfishly, because that's where I'll be, and I'll be at Boot Hill, of course, on Saturday night. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited about this 3-day affair we've got coming up. So this is what I'm going to tell you guys right now about Rocket. Chris David called me earlier, and we talked on the phone about this specifically. He wanted to give me some details. So this is some pretty cool information for the fan side of it. They're going to be selling $5 raffle tickets. The fans will draw for the first 50 fans that are into the racetrack will draw for the factory stock drivers heat race position. So that's something new and different, right? And 2 drivers will make the show drawn by the race fans for the 25th and 26th starting spot based off a $5 raffle ticket. And the cool thing about this is you can pick and choose who you want to be in the race if they have not already transferred in, right? They haven't already transferred in off of your $5, and we'll have a raffle going in the pits, and we'll have a $5 raffle going into the grandstand. So there'll be one raffle done to the pits and one in the stands, and whoever wins gets to choose who they want to put in the race. And you also can win $250. So you're going to get something back, whether you spend $5, 10 or 20, you get 4 tickets, however many tickets you get. I mean, heck, I've seen people win 50-50 just buying 1 ticket before. So it's very possible, it's very possible. So, and another really cool thing is he said there's going to be about 700 pounds of fireworks to be fired off on Thursday night as well. Again, it is the All-American Showdown. But, dude, this show card we've got it rocking on Thursday night, dude, we've got open wheel modifieds racing a regular points night for them. Everybody else, it's not a points night, but for the modifieds, it is. And we've got the American Crate Late Model Series,
Late models.
We've got the crate. And we've also got the factory stock RaceON All-Star Challenge with 48 studs locked in for battle, along with the weekly warriors. But one thing Chris told me earlier, he said, Zach, I'm not making any excuses or any bones about it. He said, I want you to let this be known. He said the racetrack was not what we wanted on Saturday night. He said it's not what we intended for it to be. And he said, I promise you that it will be better on Thursday. He said, we are not going to have the same racetrack we had on Saturday night. And I said, sounds good to me. Like he said that he wasn't happy with it. He was kind of embarrassed by it. But he knows, again, they had a lot of rain. They've been working hard on that place, and they're trying to find the right method of the madness. They've been rained out like 5 times this year, too. And again, they have new staff, a lot of new people over there. Rocket runs a very quick and efficient program. But Raymond over there is he's been doing some of the track work, but again, he's been throwing a couple wrenches this season too. So, or monkey wrenches. So they're doing a good job over there. But man, we're expecting a huge night at Rocket. Again, 700 pounds of fireworks, cuz come on. That'll pull out, just your regular old Joes of the racetrack because they want to see some fireworks. But I'm telling you, if you got if you want to throw in anything on that, but tell me what we can expect at the Darty Smith on Friday night down in Manny, Louisiana.
I'll get you there, but I'm just going to go ahead and say the firework idea, man. Hey, firework shows, if that's what it takes to get people in the grandstands, then by all means, 700 pounds of fireworks roll in. I got an old good buddy. I ain't gone to him yet, but your boy Darty love fireworks too, and I'm going to try to make sure we got about 700 pounds at Sabine as well. I got to go by him and do a little dip and dive and go talk to my man Dwayne Olson at Olson Fireworks stand, or Sean O'Toole with big old Tool Fireworks. But I'm gonna try to make something happen with that as well. But they got fireworks down there as well. But Sabine Speedway, man, the Darty Smith Memorial.
O'Toole in years. I just made me think about Sean O'Toole.
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, racer, modified, 02.
Tell him I said hi. 02. Yeah, tell him I said hi next time. Yeah, random. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But yeah, Darty Smith Memorial, Friday night at Sabine, like Zach when he said he opened up. 3rd time's a charm. We ain't had a whole lot of luck rolling into it, but boy, what a better way for 4th of July weekend, right? I'm just going to go down the list. We're going to start like this. Hot laps 8. I've just got my list of paper. Like I said, I'm on pen and paper,
That's
guys.
fine.
So
go ahead.
Go down my list. I mean, hey, I'm telling you, however you got to make it work. Limited modifieds, $1,000 and $1,007 to win. You get $300 for leading lap 7. So if you lead lap 7 and win the race, that's $1,307. $200 hard charger. There you go. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yeah, I did that for you since you couldn't get it.
Since I couldn't get it on Facebook.
Yeah.
This is all limited modifieds. And you have $250 added to the 7th place finishing position. So already what's 7th place, you get a $250 more. So if you're running 5th down the back straightaway on the white flag lap, you might want to let 2 guys go ahead and pass you. That's all I'm going to say. You get 250 more bucks. Hey, my buddy Big T come up with this. Big T Motorsports. We talked about it. He said, add some money. And I said, what you want to do? I said, 100. He said, no, make it 200 because I want to see somebody running 5th hit the brakes going down the front straightaway and let somebody pass them. I said, okay, sounds good. So you got $250 being added to 7th place in limited modifieds. Factory stocks, $1,007 to win. $200 for leading lap 7. Again, you lead lap 7, win the race, $1,207. $100 hard charger. $200 again to the 7th place finisher. Same deal. 7th place, you get your normal play plus another $200. B mods rolling down to them, $777 to win. $100 hard charger. If you lead lap 7, you get $100. $200 to the 7th place finisher. So at the end of the day, if you're running 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, make sure you end up in the 7th place position because I got 2 crisp $100 bills for you at the end of the night, ladies and gentlemen. But we also have Sportsters and front wheel drives on the docket. But man, you can talk about all of that and do this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, we are honoring a really good man, and I pump him up a lot because he's old pops, and he's my hero, and he's the coolest dude that ever walked this earth, if you ask me. But if you ask a lot of other guys, he's a pretty cool dude, and he's one of them. He's one of them true they don't make them like they used to, right? And Darty Smith was an absolute legend. I walked around Thunder Valley. Me, my mom, and my sister, we all went to Thunder Valley, right? And we walked around, and saw some old friends and walked around. I talked to a lot of guys, and there's a lot of people that say, like, we ain't gonna miss it, So I thank the support, man. This is the 5th year doing this, and when we started year 1 at Thunder Valley, I never thought we'd get to year 5, right? Like, it's one of those deals, you throw these memorial races, and not that they ever peter out, but it's like, man, do you keep on going? And year after year, we did 2 years at Thunder Valley, and then when Thunder Valley closed down, I asked Shane, and he didn't hesitate one bit. The Sabine Speedway crew jumped right on it and said, we'll keep it going. And man, it's honestly been really, really cool and really, really special. When you see those guys rolling the pit gate, like prime example, last year you had a couple other tracks racing. A lot of guys started throwing some money at these other tracks kind of last week of, and some people got upset. And at the end of the day, little old Sabine Speedway down in Maine, Louisiana, you drive down a hog trail, and they had 40 more cars than the other 2 tracks within 2 hours of them, right? So it's a really, really cool deal. It's Manny, it's not the nicest facility, it's not the greatest situation, but boy, that racetrack is racy, and it's something special happens down there, man. And I'm really appreciative of everybody that comes out and supports it. And at the end of the day, man, there's not many pit areas that you can't walk through that if you say Darty Smith, that there ain't going to be, if you grabbed everybody in that pit area and said Darty Smith, I guarantee you about 80 of them are going to raise their hands and probably have a story about him helping them out. So that's all I try to do, is one day have a name to be a legend like him.
And if they don't, if they have something negative to say, we can fight right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I ain't gonna change your opinion, cuz. Yeah, but the Darty Smith Memorial, man, it's a good one. I'm trying not to go down a rabbit hole and get the old waterworks rolling here, but I absolutely love it. I love this weekend again, man. The drivers and the people that show up. I don't have to tell. I mean, it's year after year, man. People show up and show out, and I know of several guys that are going to Rocket and they said as soon as Rocket's over, they're turning southbound and gonna head down to Manny, man. And I'm really appreciative of those guys making the haul, and a lot of guys that are rolling in. We got sponsors. I got a big post coming out here. You'll see it by the time this deal comes out. All the sponsors and everything, man. And it's just it's almost growing by every couple hours. I get another message to add this here everywhere. So really excited about it, man. Like you said, we got an awesome weekend rolling in. You start off at Rocket with like the All-American Nationals, right? American Crate Late Models, RaceON All-Star Challenge, Modifieds, fireworks, roll down. And I know there's a lot of other places racing Friday, right? You can go, hey, as long as you find your way to a racetrack this weekend, Darty Smith ain't going to be mad at you, and I ain't going to be mad at you neither. But if you happen to find your way down to Sabine Speedway on Friday night, we'll absolutely love to have you. I know that the whole Sabine Speedway crew will, and it brings a tear to my eye. I go and talk to all the drivers at the drivers meeting each year, and I swear I lose control, and I start stumbling like this. So I'm going to stop right now while I'm still rolling good. But I hope to see everybody Friday night, man. Your boy might be wheeling a machine. I ain't trying to scare nobody away, but I mean, I used to get around Manny pretty good. I might stake somebody's starting spot, but no, it is what it is, man. I hope to see everybody at Sabine. Darty Smith Memorial is going to be a good one, man. 1,000 to win, 1,007 to win for limiteds and factory stock, 777 to win for B mods, money added all throughout, and it's going to be a good time. Going to be a good time. I'm going to go ahead and see everybody there.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this petition out or whatever right now. Bubba Rollo, if you hear this, Shane Abear, I'm not sure what the future is at Sabine Speedway. I'm just saying whatever happens in the future, that the Darty Smith Memorial stays going no matter what, whether it's at Sabine or Boot Hill. That's what I'm throwing out right now, that the Darty Smith Memorial, if Manny, for whatever reason, shuts its doors in the future, and by God, I hope that they don't, but the Darty Smith Memorial is going to stay alive. That's my goal, is to keep your goal, I'm sure. Let's keep this race alive. Let's move it to Boot Hill if we have to. All right. That's what I'm saying right now. Yeah, eventually, and we can make it bigger and better than it's ever been. Who knows?
I don't think they'd be against it. Boot Hill Speedway sponsoring the hard charger, and heck, Bubba Jones bought a car last year just to race at the Darty. So I know those two guys supported as well. So Manny's our home. I ain't gonna lie. That's like talk to Bubba and all. And that's Manny's just where we need to. That's just where everybody knew Dad had. Sold fuel there forever, and has been around there forever. Won a lot of feature races there, and just where a lot of memories are at. So it is special to be held at Manny. But yeah, that's the goal. We'll keep it rolling for years to come, and have great stories to tell because of it.
All right, I'm putting you on the spot right now. This is the last thing here. Oh, before I do that, though, I was just going to say, while you were talking about these 3 races, I'm not sure this is my 19th season announcing. I'm not sure that I have ever had 3 races back to back to back that started at Rocket, went to Sabine, and then went to Boot Hill. I don't think I've ever had 3 that did that. I don't know. I mean, I've had some pretty interesting ones over the years, of course, but yeah, I'm really, really excited about this week. I hope I start feeling a little bit better by then. Folks, I could shit through a screen door earlier today. My stomach has been torn up and nobody cares except for me. I'm so sorry. Hey, let me tell you, son. Man, listen, it's Clark After Dark, okay? It's not quite dark yet, but your boy was up against it earlier today. I'm just telling you, I'm just trying to make it, cuz all right. I told Chris David on the phone earlier, I said, if I ain't feeling better in the morning, I'm going to get a shot in the buttocks, which I don't think you can really get a shot for a stomach bug. I think I might have food poisoning, honestly. I ate some fish from Chickafish 2 days ago here in Texarkana, Arkansas, and that fish, I'm telling you, man, that I even called my mom. I said, this fish I was eating was kind of fishy. And it just, yeah, I don't think it settled too well. But yeah, I apologize for sharing to the whole world about my unfortunate day. And I'm just still rambling here because Cortland can't seem to get it together.
All right, I'm back. We're ready.
Right. But I do apologize for telling everybody about how I feel because nobody cares except for me. But I'm here and I'm happy and I'm alive. So, hey, I shared on June 26th the other day, right, that it was my 3rd year anniversary of getting out of rehab. And having said that, I want to tell people that just because that I'm sober and like I make better decisions, it doesn't make me like I'm not prone to like I can't get sick. You know what I mean? Like I have all these issues. Like my life's still not perfect. You know what I mean? Like I made that post the other day and I was like, I don't know if I was as forthcoming as like I should have been because it made it seem like, oh, my life is so perfect now because I went to rehab 3 years. But no, man, I still struggle daily with life, right? And hell, I mean, but thankfully I make the right decisions and I haven't decided to be a dumbass and say, hey, I'm gonna go do drugs again. That's never gonna happen to your boy ZC. I'm just saying that right here, right now. Like I do not have that desire. So that is the good thing. And anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of definitely letting this thing go off the rails now after talking about shitting through a screen door and then bringing this up.
Let's roll it together. Let's roll it together.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We're getting it together. How are you doing though? As we wrap this thing up, do you have any final things you want to add before we get out of here?
Yes, I got as I always do, wrap it up. On the RaceON platform this weekend, as we talked about the old, I'm just gonna call it the old American Nationals at Rocket Raceway Park, American Crate Late Model Series, all RaceON All-Star Challenge, fireworks show, modifieds, everything else in between. Go catch yourself Rocket Thursday night. That'll be on. We have 34 Raceway also on the RaceON platform. Pretty cool that we got, like we talked about with that acquisition of Done Right TV, got to go all those races up north now. Friday, the 5th annual Darty Smith Memorial at Sabine. American Crate Late Models continue at Hunt County Raceway. Boyd Raceway's racing, and Lafayette County up north as well is racing. Then Saturday, you got the Toms at Southern Oklahoma Speedway. Always really cool to watch Toms there. Super B's racing, Boot Hill. We're calling it the Stock Car National. Zach Clark, Factory Stocks, IMCA, and USRA Stock Cars. And don't forget the Chris Weatherford Sportster race, $500 to win, $100 to start. I mean, it's going to be stock car fender to the bone. I guarantee if you roll through after them heat races, you will hear more sledgehammers on body panels than you will. I don't know what I need to use my analogy right now, but you're just going to hear a lot of body panels getting crushed out come Saturday. I hope not, because that means somebody tore some stuff up, but you got a lot of bodies and a lot of fenders out there.
Yeah, so it might get wild out there.
It might get Western. American Crate Late Models roll into Grayson County Speedway. 105 has their Liberty Bell 100. And Sunday at Dubuque, they are also racing. So a lot of races on the RaceON platform. This will be me, kind of like I said earlier. This is my formal invitation. Please, if you can make it out to Sabine Speedway, I'm going to be a favoritism and homer. And if you don't like that, then I don't know. You can kiss my big toe. All right?
That's it.
Make your way to Sabine Speedway on Friday night. One day shebang, can't get much better than that. What a great way to enjoy our 250th year anniversary of 4th of July. And again, I just want to invite everybody to come out to Sabine, honor a great man that I was lucky to call my father and that has helped and been a part of a lot of people's lives. As well as, like I said, if you can't make it there, just find your way to a dirt track, because I ain't going to be mad at you. And my boy Darty ain't going to be mad at you if you're spending a weekend at the dirt track as well. So that's going to be my closing thoughts on that. I hope I see everybody at Sabine on Friday. Your boy might be willing. Me and you will be in the booth come Saturday at Boot Hill. Man, it's shaping up to be a heck of a weekend, and I can't be more excited about it. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And now I will say, hold on, I got to give a shout out to one guy. I did find one fan, Zach Clark, at Thunder Valley Speedway. I finally found my fan. Can you believe that? We found a fan that makes it all the way to the end every single time. All right.
Oh, really?
My man, yes, my man Hudson. I got to give my boy Hudson a shout out.
Hudson Jones?
Devin, huh?
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No.
I was guessing.
Hudson. This is Devin Martin and Whitney Holden's son. But Hudson Devin Martin and Whitney Holden's son. My man Hudson, they said that he absolutely loves it whenever he hears me and old ZC on the mic at Boot Hill. Like, he asked Dad every night to listen to Zach and Cortland on the microphone. So I found somebody other than my mama that makes it to the end of the podcast. So Hudson, there's your shout out. I almost forgot about it. I said I wasn't going to. But that's a wrap for me. I may have went off the rails there.
No, you're
but
good.
Shout out to my boy Hudson. That's it for me. I hope to see everybody at the racetrack this weekend. ZC, get us on out here.
Holly always Holly sends me she sends me messages all the time, and I give him indirect shout outs on the broadcast all the time, and I know it means a lot to him. But yeah, Hudson's one of our biggest fans, man, and that kind of stuff means a lot to me, man. Like, the longer you continue to do this announcing stuff, you'll get messages and stuff like that. At the end of that's not what you do it for. But it sure does feel good when you get messages like that. I'm just going to say it. It does. Like, it makes me feel like you're doing something right. And I've never done this. I've never done this for that. But whenever you kind of indirectly get those kind of applause and those kind of, it feels good. You know, it makes you feel like you're doing something right. So shout out to you, man. You are doing a great job. I love working with you here and there, and can't wait to see you at Boot Hill on Saturday. Can't wait to see you on Friday. And I hope to maybe see you weasel up to Rocket on Thursday night. But if not, I'm sure you'll be watching. I'll give you a shout out there. Thanks, everybody, for listening to episode number 9. Dude, we did 91.
91.
All right, man. Sorry, my producer, Cody Wood, was going to slap me out of my chair.
Cody's going to shoot us in the toe.
If he could reach me, he would. But he already told me earlier they didn't have any. But he already told me earlier he didn't have anywhere to be tonight. So he said we could have a 3-hour podcast if we wanted to. I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
All right.
So, joking.
All right, 91. I'm going to hit the 91s late. How about Turbo, Tyler Erb? That was his original. He's the original 91 gangster, right? How about another super late model for the 91 of Jason Papich, a California driver? He won heat race number 4, April 5th, 2014, Arclatech Speedway with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series in town. One of the best heat races I have ever seen in my life. It's funny, Colin and I were actually talking about that Saturday at Arclatech. We were talking about that heat race. I don't know how it got brought up. I think we may have been talking about 91s for whatever reason. But and then, of course, the 91 of DJ Caskey and Jamie Burford, because Jamie Burford drove DJ Caskey's 91 IRP race car, and that 91 could rip the lip at Champion Park Speedway. I'm here to tell you now. And how about the last 91 for me tonight? I hope I didn't take all of yours. He drove a 96 at Boot Hill in the factory stock recently, but he runs a 91 and a 96 throughout the year. How about the 91 from College Station or San Antonio, Texas, Mr. Jared Maupin?
Well, you took some of my 91s, but not all of them. Not quite so fast, my friend. What about old Big Daddy Joe Duval? Come on now. Oh, Funkadelic, Honka Tonka, whatever the 14 different names of extravaganza. Yeah, Big Daddy Joe Duval. Holla at your boy Duval Electric, the honky tonk Funkadelic extravaganza. That's what
Joe Duval's Funkadelic Honky Tonk and Dirt Track extravaganza. I've announced that race several times, so I have it memorized now. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I didn't have it memorized, obviously, but Joe Duval, old Big Daddy. Craig Oakes, number 91, a factory stock 50 feature winner. The old down there, Cuero now used to storm up around the Arclatechs. And then I got one for the old big block modified nation. I hope I get this one right. It's off the top of the dome. Billy Decker from New York raced the 90. Drives the 91. I'm pretty sure.
You weren't going to go Felix Waugh?
Hey, that's another one. I was thinking Felix Billy Decker, but Felix Waugh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you throw him out there too, my man.
There's a lot of good 91s. There's a like we could have a 91s race. Like maybe I should make this Facebook post. Like, who would win in a race out of the 91s? A lot of people would pick Turbo because they're, he's a fan favorite. Yeah. I'm telling you what, Uncle T's gonna win that bout. But I tell you what, the 91s, there's some pretty damn good 91s. Yeah, it's pretty stout.
That's good ones.
All right, folks. Well, we should have given you that about an hour ago. And thank y'all for hanging out with us here to the final whistle. Hudson, shout out to you and everybody else that listens all the way here to the end. Thank y'all so much. We hope to see you Thursday night at Rocket Raceway Park, live and direct in person. If you can't be there, we'll see you tuned in live on RaceOn.com. Thank y'all for listening. Be blessed and be a blessing. We'll see you at Rocket and the Darty Smith and Boot Hill this weekend.
Later.